Jesus' skin and made it extremely fragile. His skin was so sensitive that when they beat and flogged him, the Roman soldiers took into account that there would be pain. But this pain that Jesus endured was unbearable. There's a doctor, a medical doctor. His name is Dr. Methera. He says that the back of Jesus Christ would have been so shredded from even the shoulders down toward even his knees. When they would lash, they were not just aiming for his back, they were aiming for his body. Said that his back would have been so shredded that even part of the spine could be seen. It was exposed because of the deep cuts that Jesus took. And he took them for you and I. These beatings put Jesus into a shock. Again, there's a medical term, and I won't bother giving you these medical terms because it will mean nothing. It will just probably go in one ear and out the other. But it means during this shock, Jesus was suffering because of the large amount of blood loss. When a person goes through a shock like this, there are 4 things that take place. First, the heart races to pump blood that is not even there. Secondly, this stress causes the blood pressure to work overtime and even drop severely, because we know this because Jesus even collapsed on his way to Calvary. Thirdly, when this shock hits the body, the kidneys stop working. And then fourthly, the shock causes a person to be extremely thirsty, trying to replace the blood that is lost. Jesus was in shock as he carried the cross up the hillside, up the road to Mount Calvary. Because of these beatings, Dr. Methera says there's no question that Jesus was already in a critical condition even before the nails were driven into his hands and feet. What happened at the cross? I'm sure you have seen pictures of Jesus as he carried the top part, the beam that runs this way. He was carrying that part, and the rest of the cross was dragging on the ground all the way up the hill. When they reached Golgotha, Jesus was first nailed through his wrists to the top part of the cross. Yes. The nails went through the place in his wrist where the median nerve runs. It's the largest nerve going out of the hand, and it would have been crushed by the nails that were pounded in. The pain was so unbearable. Well, the definition of pain includes both a physical feeling, but it is also includes an emotional feeling as well. You sense pain when you touch fire. Your brain tells you jump back from the fire. But your brain also has an emotion that will tell you in the future you're never going to touch that fire again. You have been maybe hurt. Maybe somebody had thrown a rock when you were playing as kids, and you knew that, or a better illustration would be falling down as you're running and you scrape your knees and it hurt. But your emotion says, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to be more careful. Amen. You sense pain in a physical way, but your emotion also gets the message across to your brain. So being nailed to the cross, there was no escape from the physical pain that Jesus felt. His brain could not even process the fact that his whole body was experiencing something so unpleasant that he could not even get away. He could not escape. He had to endure the pain. In fact, what people faced when they were crucified caused the invention of a new word as a result of Roman crucifixion. It is a simple word that says excruciating. The pain was so excruciating. It was invented because of this cruel punishment of the cross. The meaning of the word excruciate simply is out of the cross. There's no escape. Think about it. They needed to create a new word to describe the pain, the intense anguish that was caused during a crucifixion. So now Jesus has been nailed in his wrists on the beam that goes across horizontal. And he was then hoisted up, and the crossbar would then be attached to the vertical stake that had already been driven, pounded into the ground. And then they drove the nails into his feet. Again, the nerves would have been crushed in the feet with a similar pain. While hanging there, his arms would have immediately stretched. Medical doctors will tell you that what was experienced would have caused the arms to be pulled both directions by about 2 inches. Both shoulders would have been dislocated. This fulfilled the prophecy in Psalm chapter 22, which says, "All my bones are out of joint." Crucifixion is essentially an agonizingly slow death by asphyxiation. It means by choking. The reason is that the stress that is placed on the muscles and the diaphragm puts the chest in an inhaled possession. Take a breath in and hold it. That was all that a person